Hi, and welcome to my video on the intersection of a line and a circle, part 1. The intersection of a line and a circle has 3 possible intersections. And the first one is we have a circle and a line passes through 2 points on the circle. So this line that passes through a circle at 2 points is called a secant. And the other option of a line intersects the circle at 1 point. So there's the point there. So this line is called a tangent. When a line is drawn and intersects the figure at 1 point, like a circle or a parabola or ellipse, etc., then we call it a tangent. And the third option, when we have a circle and the line does not touch the circle or intersect the circle. So let's go over the 3 of these I got 3 examples of solving them. Find the intersection of each. Notice here, number 1, x squared plus y squared equals 25 and x minus y equals -1. This is a circle here whose center is 0, 0 at a radius of 5. This is a line. It's notice the exponents are 1. So we call this one equation 1. We'll call this one equation 2. So let's take equation 2, which is x minus y equals -1, and we'll solve it for y. Y equals -x minus 1. The x moves over to become negative. Now if I multiply all terms in the equation by -1, I get y equals x plus 1. And the reason I solve for y on a linear, in most cases, if we can solve for y, except we have a vertical line, which means we only have x, y equals mx plus b in relation to slope and y-intercept. So we have number 2 equations solved for y. Now I'm going to write down the first equation and sub in y equals x plus 1. So in the place of y, I'm going to put an x plus 1. So now y is replaced by x plus 1. So now I'm going to work out and solve this equation for x. So we have x squared, a binomial squared, take the first term and square it, which is x squared. Get the product of these two, which is 1, and double it, which is plus 2x. And we take the last term and square it, which means you get 1. That's the short way of squaring a binomial, equals 25. So we have 2x squared plus 2x plus 1. Notice we have a quadratic, so in quadratics, we make them equal to 0. So we move the 25 to the left side to make it negative. So that gives us 2x squared plus 2x minus 24 equal to 0. Notice we have an x squared, and that means we have a quadratic, degree 2. So can we factor? The first rule in factoring is we move to GCF, which is 2. So I'll divide 2 into each of these. I get x squared plus x minus 12. Now, a quadratic, hopefully, if it's factorable. If it's not, we've got to use the quadratic formula. So the product, because that's a 1 right here, understood, the product is on the end as a -12, and the sum is in the middle as a plus 1. So the factors of 12 are 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. So if we're going to factor this, we want the factors of 12 that will multiply to give me 12 and add to give me 1. So 1 and 12 gives you 12, but it won't give you 1. 2 and 6, no matter what you do, will never give you 1. So the answer is 3 and 4. So we got x and x. We have a 3 and a 4. And the product is negative, so these two numbers are plus and minus. Because the sum is plus 1, that means the larger number is positive and the smaller number is negative. Now, -3 times 4 is -12. -3 plus 4 is plus 1. So now we can divide by 2, or we can just leave it alone and go x minus 3 equals 0. or x plus 4 equals 0, x is equal to 3, or x is equal to negative 4. Now, normally when you have a line, you sub the values of x back into the line. So we got x is equal to 3. I'm going to write down equation number 2 and sub in 3 in the place of x. So I sub 3 in, so negative y equals negative 1 minus 3. Negative y equals negative 4. Multiply by negative 1, we get y equals 4. That means we have ordered pair x is 3, y is 4. Now I also have x equals negative 4, so I'll sub that into the equation of the line. And x is negative 4. Negative y equals negative 1 plus 4. And negative y equals 3. Again, multiply by negative 1, we get y equals negative 3. So when x is negative 4, y is negative 3. So that's the 2 points that this line intersects the circle. If you take each of these points, x is 3, y is 4, and sub in here, it should give you 25. If you take negative 4 and negative 3 and put it in for x and y and work it out, you should get 25. That checks to see if you're right. So what I did is solve one equation, subbed into the other. Number 2, we have a linear and we have a circle, but this time the circle is in the general form. So we take the equation y, or x plus y equals 2. So this is equation 1, this is equation 2. So I'm going to take equation 1 and again solve it for y. Y equals, move the x to the left to make a negative, plus 2. Now we're going to write down the second equation, and the second equation is x squared plus y squared plus 3x minus 5y plus 8 equals 0. So if y is equal to negative x plus 2, so I'm going to sub negative x plus 2 in the place of y. I'm subbing negative x plus 2 in the place of y. And now we have all x's. I'll expand it out and see if we can solve it. We got an x squared. We're taking a negative x and we're negative x plus 2 and squaring it. So negative x squared is x squared. Product is negative 2. Double is negative 4x. Product is negative 2x. Double is negative 4x. Plus 2 squared is 4. Plus 3x. Negative 5 times negative x is positive 5x. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Plus 8 equals 0. And if we want to put all the terms in order, x squared first, then the x's, so we got a 5. And let's do the 3 first, and then do the 5, put them in order as I see them. So I got x squareds, and I got negative 4, 3x, 5x, then I have a plus 4 minus 10. So notice I'm not moving across the equal sign, so I didn't change any signs. So that gives me 2x squared, and that's a negative 1 plus 5 is plus 4x, and that's a negative 6, and negative 6 add on 8 is plus 2 equals 0. And again, 2 is the GCF, so remove it. 2x squared divided by 2 is x squared. 4x divided by 2 is plus 2x. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And again, is this factorable? Well, the factors of 1 to give me a 2 is 1 and 1. And the product is positive 1, sum is 2. So looks like it's factorable. Don't have to use the quadratic formula. X squared is x and x. The product is plus 1, so it's a 1 and a 1. The product is positive 1. Sum is positive 2, so it must be 2 pluses. Multiply 1 times 1 is 1. Add 2. So that means x plus 1 equals 0. x plus 1 equals 0, x equals negative 1, x equals negative 1. Notice we got the same value twice. And again, we did not have to look at the 2 because that's a constant. The values of x are in these brackets, factors of the binomial when we solve them. So now we'll take x is negative 1, and we'll write down x plus y equals 2, which is equation 1, and we'll sub in negative 1. X is negative 1, so y equals 2 plus 1, y equals 3. So x is negative 1, y is 3. Notice there's only one ordered pair. That means that this line intersects the circle at this point, so that's the tangent. It's tangent at this point. So this line, x plus y equals 2, is tangent at negative 1, 3. And again, check, if you take x and y and sub them in here, it should work out to be a 0. Okay, let's continue. Now we have, again, a circle, which is the center. The center of the circle is 2, 3, and the radius is the root of 9, which is 3, and this is the linear. So I'll take, this is equation 1, this is equation 2. So I'll take equation 2, 3x plus y equals negative 2, and I'll solve it for y. So 3x becomes negative 3x, moving it to the left. So now I'll write down the other equation, x minus 2 all squared, y plus 3 all squared equals 9. So I'm subbing in for y, so x plus 2 squared. I'm subbing in for y, so I have a negative 3x minus 2 minus 3 equals 9. So I subbed in for y. Y is here. So negative 3x minus 2. Now I simplify the inside of the brackets first. So that gives me negative 3x minus 5 squared. So now I'll square both of these brackets, but I'll do it by, I could do it by FOIL, I'll do it by the shortcut. X squared, product, negative 2x doubled, negative 4x. Negative 2 squared is 4. We're going to square this binomial. So negative 3x squared is a plus 9x squared. And the product is 15. Doubled is 30. Product is 15x. Doubled is 30x. Product negative 5 squared is 25 equals 9. Now we'll group all the terms. So we go x squared plus 9x squared minus 4x plus 30x in descending order, x squared, then x's. I have a 4 and a 25, and I could say equals 9, so this gives me 10x squared and plus 26x plus 29 equals 9. And notice I have a quadratic, so I have to make it equal to 0. So there it is, equal to 0. So we have a 10x squared plus 26x plus 29 minus 9 is 20 equals 0. And 2, again, is a GCF. Seems to be a prominent number when I'm working with these. 10 divided by 2 is 5, gives me x squared. 26 divided by 2 is 13x. 20 divided by 2 is 10. And we have the product. Now, this is more difficult to do because a is not 1. So the product is 5 times 10 is 50, and the sum is 13. So the product is 50, and the sum is 13. And this product is a times c because a is not 1. So the factors of 50 are 1 times 50, 5 times 10, 2 times 25. and they're all pluses, so that means the factors are going to add up to give you 13. None of these factors add up to give me 13. So I have to work this out by the quadratic formula. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. So a is 5. So quadratic formula, x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And that gives me b is 13, so that's a negative 13 plus or minus. b is 13, so it's 13 squared minus 4 times a, which is 5, times c, which is 10, and all over 2 times a, 2 times 5. So that gives me negative 13 plus or minus, and work that out on the side. 13 squared is 169, and 20 times 10 is 200. So that works out to be a negative 31 all over 10. So I get a negative 13 plus or minus. Notice we got the square root of a negative number, so it's an I. Square root of 31 can't be simplified because it's a prime number. The only factors of 31 are 1 and 31 all over 10. Notice I have an I number. That means that there's no real roots. These, if you graph this circle and you graph this line, they will not intersect. So there's no intersection because the roots, just write down, the roots are imaginary. The roots are imaginary, so there's no intersection of the line and the circle. So that's solving some equations and practicing what we learned. And remember, notice that we're in this, we have to know math that's in the background, so you had to review the parabola in order to work this out. And that brings us to the end of this video. If you like my video, click the like button. If you're not a subscriber, click the subscribe button. Visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my videos, and the content. That's the content on my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Hope the video was of some help to you. Bye-bye.